If you've been sitting around waiting for a sharp, inexpensive set of full-frame cine lenses, your wish may have come true today. These are the new Sirui VP1s or Vision Prime 1s, and this is a 24, 35, and 50mm t1.4 set of manual cine lenses. Now with Sirui, you just never know what you are going to get. Sometimes lenses are brilliant, and other times, like the Sniper series of autofocus APS-C lenses, they just aren't good. So I guess we'll see how these lenses do. Let's begin. This lens set comes in a Pelican case that is blue. Inside there is a lot of stuff it seems, but in fact it's just 3 lenses. First up you have a little plastic container with some screws and a screwdriver, and the purpose of this is to use it with the 9 additional mounts included in this case. This is the first time I've seen anything like this, but whether you shoot Sony E, Canon RF, Leica L mount, or Nikon Z mount, you are covered. If you use multiple systems and previously had to buy multiple versions of each lens, well, now you don't. You buy one set and you can swap out the mount in a few minutes with 4 screws and be on your way. The lenses are vacuum sealed, they feature some plastic lens caps, and I have to say the build is very good. All metal construction, nice grippy gear rings that work just as well with a focus motor as they do handheld. The design is straightforward. The weight is right around 600 grams for each one of these lenses. Starting at the rear, there is a metal mount, no electronics, there is a gasket here for some weather sealing. Aperture ring is up first, and it's a smooth rotation from T1.4 to T16. It's well damped with a nice bit of resistance. The T-stops are labeled on both sides. Now for those who might be wondering, T-stop is similar to an f-stop. f1.4, for example, is a ratio of the focal distance and the diameter of a lens's aperture, whereas T-stop is a more accurate measurement of light transmission through a lens. One is a theoretical value and the other is a real-world measurement. And it's not a one-to-one comparison. Because of light loss, an f1.4 lens could be a t1.6 for example, so these lenses at t1.4 could be f1.2s at least in theory. Next up is the focus ring, which is very smooth, light to rotate, but still has a little bit of dampening with focus distance scales printed on either side. The white numbers indicate meters, the blue numbers, which are quite a bit harder to read, indicate distance in feet. Focus throw is 270 degrees from one end to the other, and it's smooth all the way through. The lens specs are printed on this side, and Sirui VP1 on the other side. On top, Vision Prime 1, a 72mm outer filter diameter, and around the front you have large front lens elements with specs, minimum focus, and front filter thread is 67mm. What's great about this set of lenses, besides the interchangeable mounts, is that all 3 of them are the exact same length, and the position of the gear rings are the exact same, so if you have them on a rig, for example, and you are swapping one lens for another, you don't really have to do much. Inside there are a variety of advanced elements, and if you read the marketing, you can tell that Sirui is trying to make these lenses sharp, really clinically sharp cine lenses. I put these on my A7C and I shot some videos, and overall my impressions are positive. Wide open at T1.4, there is plenty of sharpness in the center of the frame. The corners, as expected, are soft wide open, but sharpen up quite a bit by around T2.8. I did a quick comparison between these lenses and some other full frames that I own, and the results were good. Compared to the Sigma 20mm f2, the Sirui 24 at T2 is equally sharp in the center. It's brighter across the frame, with corners being a little bit sharper on the Sigma. Wide open, you can see the softer corners more drastically. I compared the 35mm to the Tamron 28-75 G2 at 35mm, both lenses at f2.8, and in the center these Sirui VP1s are sharp. The corners are very, very close as well, stopped down. Again, wide open the corners are soft, but surprisingly the center stays very sharp at T1.4. Last up, the 50mm versus the Tamron at 50mm, and at 2.8 the result is the same. There is very little difference between the two in sharpness, but if you are shooting wide open, those corners get dark and get soft. In terms of barrel distortion, there are no issues with these 3 lenses. There is some vignetting that is pretty heavy in the corners on each one of them, and the corners are a bit softer, as I mentioned before, at least wide open. Chromatic aberration performance is quite good. There is some with each lens. The 24 and the 35 in particular do a good job suppressing it. The 50mm displays a little bit more of that color fringing. The 24 and the 35 are also very good in terms of focus breathing. There is almost nothing, whereas the 50mm does have some breathing, not a ton, but enough to be noticeable. All of the colors and the contrast levels match really well between these three lenses. One is not warmer than the other, but I will say that the whole set is on the warmer side of rendering, which some will appreciate and others will want something perhaps a little bit more neutral. Optically, these lenses are not going to replace your G Masters. They have your typical soft, dark corners and fringing that you see in the majority of lenses, and ultimately eliminating that is why so many opt to pay so much more for G Masters and Sigmas. But for cine lenses, if you are shooting video, these lenses are more than adequately sharp, even wide open, and especially in the center of the frame. These are optically superior than the Sirui Nightwalker series. There's no arguing there. And then we have to talk about the price, which will go up, but as they are currently on Kickstarter as of today, you can save quite a bit of money by picking them up early. You save $100 per lens, so $549 each for those early bird specials. The entire set with the case is regularly $18.99, but for the early birds, it's $15.99. And I think that these will be a hit, more so than the Nightwalker and the Sniper series of lenses. The fact that you can get all of the mounts included with these and they are easily swappable, the sizes and weights are about the same, the colors are about the same, the sharpness is impressive, wide open, at least in the center. There's really a lot to like here. I'm also just speculating, but a wider, perhaps 16mm and a more telephoto, let's say an 85mm, would round out this kit quite nicely, and I think that it will happen in the future, but for now I think there is certainly value in this set. It will appeal to a wide array of professionals and hobbyists who shoot on any one of the 4 full-frame systems. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you want to read more or support the Kickstarter, I'll leave that link down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. A lot of good videos coming up in the coming days, really, for you guys. So look out for those. See you then. Bye.